Hello and welcome to part 9 of this Introduction to Revit series. My name is Mr. Vosters. I am a high school tech ed and engineering teacher, and in this video we are going to be adding some gutters, fascia, columns, and we will also add some railings to our stairs, which let me see if I can show you. It's kind of hard to see it in this view, but there are railings inside. Maybe I can see from the back of the house. See if I can show you that. Maybe we can see from this. Yeah, there they are. So you can see we've got these black railings on our staircase. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So this is our finished product. It's looking pretty darn close to our model. So we're going to add these columns. These will be black. We're going to add this piece of trim, and we're going to add this piece of trim. There is, in reality, a lot more trim pieces. I'm going to simplify this design a little bit, and we're not going to add a lot of these vertical trim pieces. We're not going to add any of them, frankly. But if you did want to, you could follow the techniques in this video, and you could add those vertical trim pieces as well. Okay, so I'll try to keep this video as brief as possible, but there is a lot we need to get through, so let's jump right in. So again, this is our finished product. Let's go back to where we left off in the last video, which was here. So let's start by just adding our architectural columns in the front there. And the best way to do this is going to be to go to the architecture tab, go to column, and then select architectural column. You can see it gives us this metal clad column, which we do not want. We want a rectangular column, but when I go to L1 and hover this over my floor plan, which I need to make this transparent. So let's go to override graphics and view by category, and let's just make this like 40% transparent. So now we should be able to grab our column and just see how close it matches up to that. So even our 18-inch looks quite a bit too large. Let's try to drop this down to 12 inches by 12 inches and see how that looks. So I'm going to duplicate the type. Let's just rename this 12 inches by 12 inches. Click OK. And then we're going to change the depth to 1 foot. And we'll change the width to 1 foot. And now we just need to add a material to this. This is going to be wood. So we can just pick any wood. We'll just choose cherry. And then I'm going to duplicate material and assets, and I'm going to call this black painted wood. Oh, misspelled black. Let's try that again. Black painted wood. Clearly, this does not appear to be black painted wood. So what we can do is click on this little material browser here, or asset browser. Then if I just search for black, hit enter, it may take a minute. Here we've got matte wall paint, and that's black. So let's just double click that. It should load it in after you've double clicked it. It looks like it did. In the graphics tab here, it looks like it is showing as black. Here's a little preview. Let's click OK. And now we've got a 12-inch. Sorry, that all may have been happening on another screen. So this is how your menu should look. So we've got a 1 inch or 1 foot depth, 1 foot width, and our material is now black painted wood. So all I did was I duplicated the cherry wood, went to the asset browser, searched for black, and then I selected, I think it was the top option. So from here, we should be able to click OK to finish creating that 12-inch black column. It's still a little bit bigger than what we see there, but we're just going to place that. We'll place this one over here, and I'm just kind of placing it roughly in the location. We'll use the align tool to get it exactly where we want. So I'm going to hit escape a couple times to get out of the column creation tool, go over to modify, and then I'm going to use the align tool to kind of align everything to that outside edge. So here I'll click my edge, put the edge there, and let's save our project. Let's align this one to the outside. And honestly, I'm just doing this for simplicity. It's hard to tell if they actually are aligned up with that outside edge in the photo. I'm not going to align this one. In fact, I'm actually going to delete it. And you'll see why in a second. So we've got 3 of our columns. Let's check it out in the 3D view. Looking pretty good so far. What I'm going to do next is go to the Annotate tab and choose where it says Detail Line. I'm going to change this to a hidden line, and I'm going to find the center of my doorway. When I'm at the center, it should change the symbol to a little triangle, and I'm just hovering over it. Once it shows the triangle, I will click, and then I'm just going to place this kind of straight down from the center of the door. This is going to be our mirror line. So now if I go back to modify, I can select mirror dash pick axis. But before I click this, I need to click on the column. So I'll click on the column, then I click mirror, and now I click the mirror line, and then it should mirror this column over that mirror line. So what that's going to do is create a symmetrical set of columns that are both equally spaced from the center of the door. So even though they don't match up perfectly with our floor plan, when we go to our front view, it should look like the columns center the door, and they definitely do, and that looks pretty nice. Let's go back to our isometric view, kind of all over the place here. Let's rotate it down a little bit, and we are done with our columns. Next, we're going to add the fascia to the exterior of the house. We're also going to add some exterior trim like we talked about here. We're going to add this horizontally to match our house. So let's add the fascia right away. And the best way to do that is probably going to be in your 3D view. From there, you're going to go to architecture, roof, and then roof fascia. So first thing I'm going to do is select that, then I'm going to go to edit type, and then I'm going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to rename it 1 by 12 inch white. And then I'm going to maybe change this profile to be slightly smaller. Let's do 1 by 10. I think 1 by 12 is a little bit too thick. Then let's change the material to our white clad material. So if I find clad white, I'll double click on that, and then click OK. Now all I need to do is kind of just go around the house and click on anywhere that I see that roof edge. So I'm just going to rotate around just to make sure I don't miss anything. Oops, unclicked it. There we go. So if you accidentally unclick one, just go back and click it again. I'm just going to trace all the way around my house. Make sure I get all of these edges. It's looking pretty good so far. This is pretty easy to do. It just takes a little time. Just make sure you don't miss any. And there we go. That's pretty easy to do. So before we begin, I'm just going to hit escape a couple times, and then we're going to add our gutters real quick. So go to architecture, roof, and then select roof, gutter. Before we add any of these gutters, let's edit the type, let's duplicate it, and then let's just rename it white. From here, I can select a category for the material, and we're going to choose clad white again. Let's just leave the profile how it is. 5 by 5 should be fine. And then we're just going to aim for that top edge of our fascia, anywhere where that roof is sloping down should need a gutter. So any gabled end will not need a gutter, but there's quite a few that do. All right, so I'm just going around the entire house. Oop, I don't want to miss this back edge. If you accidentally click the bottom edge, it's going to put that gutter lower. And we don't really want that. Oops, I just undid all of this. Let's go back. After that, I'll speed through this. I'll speed up the video so that you don't have to watch me place all these again. Once you're done, click away, and you should have all of your gutters now. So it's outside of the house is looking pretty good. Next up, we're going to add the trim to the outside of our house. And this is a little bit more advanced, but we're going to see how we do. So to start, go to the Architecture tab and then select Component. And in the drop-down, you're going to select Model in Place. And we're going to select Casework, so just double-click Casework. And then we're going to type in exterior white trim. Click OK. Then from here, we need to set our work plane. And we're going to set our work plane at the second floor. And that's going to allow us to do this one in front of the garage. Click OK. And then once you've got your work plane, you're going to select up here where it says solid extrusion. And from L1, you're going to find your garage. Then we're going to model this directly across the face of our garage. And we're going to make this pretty thin. Let's just make it, I don't know, 2 inches thick. Does not need to be very thick to be still noticeable. Let's go all the way over. Once you get that dotted line and you know you're even with the edge of the house, go up and click there. Let's zoom out a little bit, hit escape a few times. And then from here, it's going to say the extrusion end and start is 1 foot and 0 feet. So it's going to be, I believe, this would make it 1 foot tall, starting at the second floor. So let's just see how that looks. So I click the green check. We go back to our 3D view. We can see that this looks a little bit off. I think partially because it's just too high. So instead of going upwards, we want it to go downwards. So let's click back on that. And for our end, we want it to be 0. And for our start, we want it to be negative 1 foot. And let's just see how that looks. That looks a lot better already because it's not sticking to our roof anymore. Okay, we do want to change our material down here in the Properties tab. It says by category. That means there's really nothing in there. So we can select clad white, and now it should look pretty darn good. The rest of our fascia was actually 10 inches. So let's make this match. So let's just make it go down negative 0 feet, 10 inches. Click apply. And now it's a little more uniform with our fascia. So that was the first piece of trim. Not so bad, hopefully. Let's click Finish Model, and that one's done. The next one, we're going to follow the same exact process. We're going to go to the Architecture tab, select our drop-down under Component, Model in Place. It's going to be Casework again, and we'll do Exterior White Trim number 2. Our work plane this time is going to be the roof level. That's going to allow us to make our trim right here. Click OK. We're going to make an extrusion. And we're going to go to the L2 floor plan in order to sketch this out. And it's just going to go across this little bump out. So select the line tool. Let's trace all the way across. Again, we want to make that 2 inches thick. So let's try to get that right. There we go. Go all the way across to the other end and then connect your lines. Hit escape a few times. And then let's make our extrusion end at 0. And then we'll have it start at negative 10 inches. Let's change our category of material to clad white and click the green check to see how it goes. Okay. This one looks a little wonky, and I think we actually will want this one at starting at 0 and ending at 10 inches. Let's see how that looks. That looks a lot better. Okay, once you're happy with how it looks, click the green check to finish the model, and then we can move on to the next thing. All right, if you did really want to make it look exactly like this, you could add little extrusions that are kind of rounding this corner in like an L shape. And then you could have them start at like the second floor and then go all the way up to a finished position of the roof level. And, same for this trim here. You could have it start at the first floor or the ground floor and finish at the second floor. And you would just make a little L shape from the top down view that wrapped around that corner. Okay, so lots of fun things you can do with extrusions and components that you model in place. But let's move on to our railing for our stairs. So let's just find a picture of this. There we go. There you can kind of see stairs. Let's get a better picture of it. There's a pretty good picture of it. So we've got this black baluster here. We've got black railings. So we should be able to use our black painted wood for the material once we get this kind of set up. We're also going to cut out a section of the wall because right now we have a wall just going floor to ceiling all the way up with no space for railings. If we go here, we can see that that wall goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the treads of the stairs. So if we're doing some quick math, 70 inches is about how far across that wall is cut. And then we've got the rest of the stairs. There is actually no railing. It looks like there probably should be like a railing along the wall, but for whatever reason, when they designed this, they did not add that. So we're just going to copy this design and we're going to add some straight railings that go 70 inches into this wall. So let's go to the L1 floor plan, and then we're going to do a section view of this part of our morning room or gathering room. So to do that, we're going to go to View, select Section, and then we're just going to drag this. Oops, don't drag it that way. Let's try that again. You're going to go from right to left. If I drag from left to right, it's going to look out towards our backyard. So I want to go from right to left and see how these arrows are kind of pointing towards the stairs. That means when we pull up that section view, it's going to look at the stairs. So here's my section view, section 3. It's always going to be the highest number is the most recent one you created. So I want to look at the ground floor, and here should be the wall. You can kind of see the stairs behind it. I'm just going to go back to L1 to make sure that I do have the correct wall clicked on. It looks like I do, since this is the nearest wall to us. So let's go to our wall. We've still got it selected. Now I'm going to click Edit Profile. It's going to say it's going to warn you about removing the attachments. I'm just going to click Close. That's fine. Now it should bring up this pink box showing the shape of the wall. And right now it's just a rectangle because it's going from floor to ceiling. But we want to make it a cutout that follows along the stairs here. So let's do our best to have it kind of follow the stringer. But the first thing I want to do is just offset this wall by 70 inches because that is where we said we wanted our wall to kind of continue on from floor to ceiling. is at that 70-inch mark. So if I kind of hover over this edge, you want to be on the right side of it. See that little hidden line is kind of showing up in the position where we want. Then we're going to click to place it. And now from here, I can just select where this new line we just drew kind of intersects with the stringer, then go all the way to the bottom so that we follow along that stringer. Next, we just need to kind of clean this up. So I'm going to trim it, or not trim, I'm going to split it here and here. And then we're going to split this top line there. So now I can go around that I've split. Now that I've split everything, I can kind of just delete the sections of this that I don't want, just like that. So from here, I should be able to click the green check, and our wall, let's save our project. Our wall should look like it does in the image here. And there's a couple ways we can check that it does. We can do a little section box, which I'll do now just to show you. Let's kind of turn on our section box, click on our section box, and then let's drag it in this way. Okay, we're getting close. There we go. We should be able to see it now. And look at that. So our ground floor stairs look really nice with that little cutout shape. We also need to do this wall though. So now I'm going to select that wall. And from section 3, it's selected. I should be able to just kind of trace this one. So let's see if I can do that. And that looks pretty good. I will have to split all my lines again. However, I don't have to split here because I just traced the existing design. So I can delete that one, click the green check, and we should be done. Let's go back to our 3D view. And now it's looking pretty good. So we've got our shape the way we want it. Next up, all we need to do is add our railings, which is pretty simple, but then changing the color is a little bit more complicated, but not the end of the world. So let's go to L1, go to the architecture tab, go to railing, and then we'll do sketch path. And we're going to sketch it from, we're going to sketch a line from the middle of there, we're going to make it 70 inches. So 70 inches is 5'10". So that looks good. And then we should be able to, can we mirror this? Let's see if we can mirror this. Let's maybe add I think I have to finish this first. Hang on. Let's get our railing clicked on. So notice how it's just going straight into our wall. We want it to follow our wall there, just like that. So let me just back up again. I clicked on the railing, and then I clicked up here where it says pick new host, and then I kind of hovered over my wall, and then it adjusted it to follow along that wall. Okay, the problem with this is if I go to my realistic view, I'm guessing everything's going to show up this like lime green color, which is not ideal. So let's fix that real quick. Let's click on our railing, go to edit type, and then within here, let's duplicate it, and let's call it rectangular black, because we want it to be black. So from our menu here, let's click edit, not there. Let's go to here, and we can just confirm we have a 3/4 inch baluster that's square. So let's cancel that. Then from here, we can go to our type. So this will update our rail. And for our rail, you can see right now it says by category. So that's always going to show up as that lime green color. And let's change this to our black painted wood. And click OK. We're going to see that this only updates the railing. These balusters, the 3/4 inch balusters, are still going to be this ugly green color. So what we need to do is go all the way down to where it says families. We're going to expand it, and then I think it's under railings. Go to baluster square, since that's the type of railing we've got. Then we're going to go to the 3/4 because that is the kind that we're using. And if you double click it, you should be able to duplicate it. Actually, I'm not going to duplicate it because then I'd have to update all those different menus. So I'm just going to change the baluster material to my black painted wood. Click OK. And now look at that. Our railing is all updated. So let's mirror this across our stairs if we can. So now I'm going to go to my L1 floor plan, go to annotate, create a detail line, kind of going down the center of my stairs. I think I've got it. Just like that. Just draw it a little bit, doesn't have to go far. Now I should be able to go to modify. I need to select my railing. Then I'm going to select mirror, pick axis, select the center there. And then it says railings are placed completely outside a host. I think that's fine. Let's check it out in the 3D view. And it's doing this thing again. So let's click on the railing, pick new host, and then we'll select the other wall. And that should adjust it to match. Okay, while we're in here, let's go ahead and update our stair tread to kind of match our design. So here we can see it's carpeted. The riser and the tread are all carpeted. So let's update those. Let's just click on our stair, edit type. Let's duplicate it and then call it carpeted. And from here, I forget where I need to go. Let's see. Go down to here, run type. Click the little button there, kind of on the right side of the field. And then we've got by category, which again, sorry, we don't want black painted wood. We want carpet. So let's type in carpet, double click that. And let's update our riser also to be carpet. That looks pretty good. We will also need to update the stringer, but let's just click OK for now. So we can see that the treads and risers are now carpeted. Let's click again on the stair, edit the type, and then the stringer right here, we will need to keep as closed. But if we click on the support type, we want to change this material to, the riser, or the stringer, sorry, is really just painted white. It almost matches the gypsum wallboard. So I'm going to actually modify this to just be gypsum wallboard for appearance purposes. Click OK, and then we're going to click OK again. And this one should have updated as well. It was the same support type. Click apply, click OK, and that looks really good. While we're here, this stair was the same exact type. So even though we don't really know what the basement stairs look like, that one should be updated now as well. All right, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks again for watching. The house is really coming together, and we will be just about finishing up this series in the next video or two. Okay, so make sure you tune in for those ones. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video if you got something out of it, and stay tuned for the next one.